Good morning. We are going on an adventure this weekend. We've decided to hop across the border to do a quick 2 days in New Brunswick. So we were going to just do one big long road trip day, and we thought, no, let's get a hotel over in Moncton, which is on the east side of New Brunswick, and we'll just explore for a little bit. We haven't done as much in Canada this summer as we had hoped. We did go to that one festival in Fredericton, which was super fun. So we're gonna do some exploring this weekend and take you along. Now, we're not taking the RV with us this time, though. We did take it to Fredericton, but this time we decided we're just gonna do a road trip.
Which actually feels like the same amount of work, because now we have to pack.
So much packing. Look at, this isn't even our clothes. It's just like our snacks and our,
Wow.
other stuff. This is
bulk barn containers.
This is bulk barn containers. We won't subject you to another visit to bulk barn, but we are gonna go. So we've had to prepare the RV a little bit for leaving because we are leaving Ella behind. She is fine overnight, even for 2 nights she'd be okay. But this is the first time we've ever left her in the RV while we've been gone. We leave her, have left her in the house in the past. But so we were trying to think through, what do we need to do to the RV to make it safe for her to be here overnight. So we've put our solar towers up to fully charged, and we've hooked them together so that they will drain. One will charge the other, so we can utilize both of them while we're gone. The solar panels are plugged into those, so it will charge during the day. Today's a nice sunny day. And if overnight the towers run down, we do still have our lithium batteries that will run everything in here, the fridge and stuff, for 8 hours, overnight. And we'll be back tomorrow night. So, and then tomorrow morning, even if the towers are dead, once the sun comes up, they will start charging again with the solar. So the only thing really that we're concerned about for her is the heat. Now, it's supposed to get down to the low 40s overnight, which is not too cold for her, but we've set the propane furnace to kick on at around 50 degrees, and that will keep it warm enough in here for her. We've made little burrow spots around that she can burrow into and get under the covers of the blankets if she needs to, but honestly, she'll be fine in that temperature. And then I've left plenty of food for her. She's got her water, and even if the power went off, she'd be okay. So I think we're comfortable what we're doing here. And we're going to put our chain across the driveway so that, nobody can wander back here. They would have to really try to get back here. We've got our little security cameras so we can see Ella while we're gone. So I think we're ready to go. You've been back from Canada for the weekend.
Yeah, I really like New Brunswick too. It's not much smaller than Maine, so it has a lot of that feel. What is it? Roughly 800,000. Maine's 1.2 million, so it's similar scale.
So again, like our other times, we crossed through the border with no problem. I did do the ArriveCan app yesterday, but that QR code gets connected to our passports, so he didn't ask for the code. He just looked at our passports, and I guess it's connected to our ArriveCan entry. Our first stop today is the little town of St. Andrews, right down on the water. A little bit off of the beaten path, but such a quintessential, cute little provincial town here. And we're stopping by the seashore just to get our bearings and see what we want to do today. And we're also on Atlantic time here, which is an hour later than Eastern time. So we'll get an extra hour of daylight, which is great. St. Andrews is also known as St. Andrews by the Sea, and USA Today actually labeled it the best town to visit in Canada.
Yeah, I think a bunch of polls occasionally put this right at the top of the list, change places with Quebec City every once in a while. So this is apparently a really lovely destination, which is part of why we noticed it and marked it to come visit.
Yep. RV park across from the water. Should we drive in and see it?
We're in a dually, so automatically you get let in.
Right.
From St. Andrews, we made our way up the Bay of Fundy coast to the city of St. John. It is the second largest city in New Brunswick, and it is a gorgeous place to explore. But since we have already been to St. John before, we did not stop on this trip, though we would love to go back there and explore some more. So from there, we continued to head northeast to the city of Moncton, which is the largest city in New Brunswick.
All right, we're at Magnetic Hill outside of Moncton, and we're trying to figure out what the attraction is here.
And I think it's an illusion. I think the instructions said pull over now into the left lane at this white post, put it in neutral, and then let off the brake. And I think it's like we're gonna roll uphill is the illusion. I mean, it feels like it's downhill, but yeah, it's kind of that. My foot's off the brake. I'm in neutral, and if you am looking behind me, it truly looks like I'm backing up uphill. If you look in the mirror,
Really, we're rolling downhill, but it looks like we're rolling uphill. I see.
that is an optical
Yeah,
illusion.
it does look like we're rolling uphill.
Now, when you look at the trees, they are slanted the way they're supposed to be.
Yes,
Not-
they are.
Here, let's go do it again.
All right, let's do it again. All right, so
No.
you drive to the white post, and you get in the left lane.
We got 3 of us trying this right now, taking turns, going back and forth.
Here's the white post.
All right, white post.
Okay, now we'll watch the road this time.
But it gets going fast, so
Yeah.
that's what was throwing me off a
Okay,
little
so
bit.
the road is clearly going uphill in front of us. Now you're gonna let your
No,
foot off the brake.
and if you look behind, it looks like the road is going uphill behind us, that we're in a valley. So that's the illusion. Like, it looks like we're in a dip.
Okay, yeah, it looks like the cars behind us are going uphill. Now it looks like that farthest car back is at the top of the hill.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, there he goes, over the top of the hill.
Now, he may have driven. We don't know.
All right.
Okay. I'm going to go relatively fast,
Okay,
which is hard when you're going backwards. Okay, here I go.
all right.
Foot off the brake. I'm in neutral.
Okay, now we're rolling backwards.
And especially once I get back here, it starts to feel like I'm going back uphill. He stopped.
Oh, we're going kind of fast now.
Let's do this.
Can you go around him?
Got in my way.
See So you're not putting your foot on the gas at all. We're
No,
just still rolling.
I had to tap the brake a
And
couple
it does
times.
look like we're going up. I feel like you should be putting on the gas because it looks like we're going uphill. All right, to the
If
top.
I hadn't had to tap the brake, I would have crested this hill.
Uh-huh. All right, we did it. Magnetic Hill, Moncton, New Brunswick.
That's a Route 66
Yeah, oddity. It's an
quality oddity.
Well, we settled in here at Moncton, New Brunswick for the night in a hotel right downtown. Now, Moncton is the largest city in New Brunswick, about 71,000 people here, and it's called the Hub. The nickname is Hub City because it's right in the center of the Maritime provinces of Eastern Canada. So if you look at this map, these Maritime provinces are New Brunswick, Nova Scotia, Prince Edward Island. But anyway, Moncton's right in the center. So we're going to explore here a little bit more tomorrow. But right now, we are heading out to get some dinner, snacky stuff at a Poutinerie. If you don't know what a Poutinerie is, let's go and we'll show you. So poutine is, of course, a favorite Canadian dish that we love to get when we're here. It's basically French fries with gravy and cheese curds on top. But this place looks like it does all kinds of different toppings. So we got some chicken and vegetable one to have for dinner to split. This is the most decorated poutine we've ever had.
This is the world's largest and original Poutinerie.
Yeah, that's right.
For all I know, there's only one Poutinerie in the whole world. The guy made up the name.
This is it, though.
All right.
Good morning. We're going to start out our second day here in Moncton. Moncton has 53 murals and street arts. It's kind of famous for that. So we're going to just do a handful of them on our way out of town, and then we're going to make our way up the eastern side of New Brunswick today.
Sounds fun.
Well, it's another successful bulk barn run. We got all of our snacks for today. Just a little example. And something interesting about Moncton is that it's the only officially bilingual city in Canada. Now, of course, Canada is a bilingual country with French and English, and some of the provinces have French as one of their, main languages. Excuse me. But Moncton is officially designated as a bilingual city, which means that they provide all of their services in English and French. And we noticed in the bulk barn that there was one checkout person who was speaking English and one who was speaking French.
Yeah, and so this area of New Brunswick is one of the key places that Acadians came through. So we mentioned that before. The St. John Valley and northern Maine, New Brunswick border is Acadian, that French people group that came from what's now Nova Scotia. But this is a significantly historically populated, so there's Acadian museums and villages and stuff all through this region as well. So even maybe more significantly populated that way than even the St. John Valley, or part of the same historical
And we
inflow.
often comment when we're up here that it feels very European to us here in the Maritime provinces, and part of that is because there's so much signage and people speaking French.
Par un dimanche au soir, revenant voir les filles passant par un boisson, je l'ai entendu chanter le rossignol sauvage qui allait s'y coucher. Ô rossignol sauvage, apprends-moi ton langage, apprends-moi à parler.
20 minutes outside of Moncton is the little town of Shediac, famous for having the largest lobster in the world, I believe. We're gonna go see it in a minute. We just stopped by this little train museum because we wanted to get the history of the town, but I think it's closed today. So this looks like a super cute town. We're gonna do a little walking downtown and then go see the lobster.
Pas tard après souper, en leur disant, Mademoiselle, voilà nos amitiés. J'ai passé, repassé, la belle à votre porte, trouva la porte close. C'était mépris de moi. Je voyais bien par là en même un autre que moi.
Well, here she is, the largest lobster statue in the world. Shediac, New Brunswick. It was built in 1990.
Il n'est ni beau ni riche, ni plus parfait que vous. Soit que l'amour me contente, oh, je l'aime mieux que vous. Si vous en aimez un autre, rendez-moi mon mouchoir, votre mouchoir, mon cher, est au chevet de mon lit. Nuit et jour, je pleure, nuit et jour, je gémis. Dans la belle de regretter ses fautes quand une affaire est faite. Il ne faut plus en parler. Rendez-moi mon mouchoir, la belle m'a m'en aller.
Up the coast a little bit north of Moncton is the little town of Bouctouche, and we're out at the Irving Eco Bouctouche Dunes, or the La Dunes de Bouctouche. This is run by the Irving Oil Company, and they've made a boardwalk across this 12-kilometer long sand dune to preserve it. And Jason was just saying that the Irving Oil Company is very conscious of doing public works and preserving nature and things in northern Maine and also in New Brunswick. There's a lot of different Irving installations like this. So we're going to check out this boardwalk. It looks very cool. Bouctouche Dunes was a great walk. I highly recommend it, and it's free. It's a beautiful long walk along the beach and the boardwalk, and they have a nice little interpretive center there. When we were in Moncton, we stopped at the Tourist Information Center. We got this map of New Brunswick, and we didn't realize until we opened up the map that there are, it looks like 5 major scenic drives around the province that you can do, and they're marked really great on this map. So right now we're on the Acadian Coastal Drive up the east side of New Brunswick, and then when we go back across New Brunswick back to Maine, we're going to do part of the Miramichi River route. So this is a really beautiful drive, and I love that this map has such a great description of it. And also
We did the
there's 5.
Yeah, we did the Fundy
Fundy Coastal Drive when we came up through St. John on the way up here. We're heading into the town of Miramichi, New Brunswick, which is just up the river here. But before we get in there, we've stopped at this Irish Middle Island. It's a little park, but it has some interesting history. In the mid-1840s, after the Irish potato famine, about 5 ships of Irish immigrants came up the river here, and 2 of the ships contracted typhus fever, and there was a bunch of people who died on the ships, and they landed here at Middle Island to quarantine and to bury the people who had died. So there's a kind of a gruesome history here, but it's interesting to read about that Irish history and to see this piece of history.
I don't know. We're about to turn left.
Yeah, go ahead.
You good with your...
Yep.
That's my turn.
All right, we just crossed the bridge over the Miramichi River into the town of Miramichi, and this is where the Acadian Coastal Scenic Drive and the Miramichi River Scenic Drive split. So now we're on the Miramichi Drive. We're gonna do just a quick drive through of Miramichi because the sun is starting to set. We just want to see a few things, and then we're gonna start heading back to Holton. We'll probably get home pretty late, but we'll take you along anyway.
Curling club. Central Park.
So the town of Miramichi is only about 17,000 people, and there's not much to see there. It's just a small blue-collar city, sort of like the same size as Presque Isle, Maine. So we drove through there pretty quickly, but on our way out of town in the south is Wilson's Point. This is the last stop that we're going to make here before we head back to Maine. And Wilson's Point is a Scottish settlement historical site, and as opposed to the Irish settlers who came in the 1840s and were kind of refugees from Ireland, these were Scottish settlers who came in the mid-1700s and settled here and built thriving towns and businesses and fisheries and lumber yards and things. So this is kind of interpreting the Scottish history of the area. Everything's closed right now, but there's some nice plaques here, and there's a little Scottish cemetery down here too. Okay. This is great that they've left the original grave sites here, I guess, but put new stones so that you can see who was actually buried here and what their gravestones said.
And they've made these nice enclosures, which may be replicas of something original, I'm not sure.
96 years old in 1805. That's pretty impressive. Died by the fall of a tree.
That's rough, buddy. It's pretty out here.
I'm glad we came down here. We were going to skip it, but this is a nice site.
Yeah. Really nice thing.
All right, we got a 3.5-hour drive back home if we go straight there, which we are not known to do. But maybe in the dark we will.
We're going to take highway the whole way.
Yeah.
We're not doing any scenic routes on
We're
this.
going to go through Fredericton. We were going to go around the long way, but we ran out of time, so that's okay. We'll save it for a different trip. Ooh.
Lots to do in New Brunswick.
Yeah.
Kitty, kitty. Hey, Ella. How'd you do? Pretty good. What's the temperature in here?
Oh, here it's 50.
56 and 58.
That's not bad. Well, because it was warm today. Or warm enough. Alright, let's turn up the furnace. Bird. It's cool in here. Hello.